Welcome to the Connor Mack Show, and today we're going to be talking about Scottie Barnes, one of my favorite players already as a young rookie. He's averaging about 17 points per game, 8 rebounds a game, 2 assists per game, and shooting around 52% from the field and 22% from 3. Some of the weaknesses coming into the NBA were around his jump shot, right? He shot about 27% on threes in college. A little robotic with his mechanics, doesn't have a great post game, but everything else he does is absolutely phenomenal, right? We're going to talk about his defense first, and the traits of a good modern NBA defender is ability to defend multiple positions, right? He can do this extremely well. The art of verticality, going up straight and not fouling, hard controlled closeouts without fouling the shooter, and his off-ball awareness are all excellent. So we're going to break that down in the first half of this video, okay? So if you want to put him on guards in the full court, he can give you excellent pressure on guys that are much smaller than him. He stands about 6'8", 205 pounds with a 7'2" wingspan, and he can guard 1 through 5. Right here, he's guarding Enes Kanter, the center for the Boston Celtics. Doesn't give him any room and forces him into a long contested jumper, right? Here he's guarding Tyrese Maxey, one of the fastest point guards in the NBA. Okay, he's moving his feet really, really well. I mean, you're going to see a lot of these guards that are going into the paint. He has the ability to contest without fouling. You see he has his arms up in proper legal guarding position. This is one of the things that I really like on film. So here's Maxey going up to the cup, right? The body contact, there is body contact, but his arms are up. He's not reaching. He's not extending. And, these are the type of things that the Raptors saw when they wanted to draft him with the 4th overall pick. Inside, force the contest, right? That's one of the great things about Scottie is that he will play defense until the play's over. He's not gonna wolf it. He's not gonna give you half-assed effort. Right there, that contest, right? And you just see his wingspan, right? That's one of his best traits, and he can use that to really affect people's jumpers and things going into the lane, right? There's a nice strip on a spin move. He has really great hands for his size, and he's not intimidated by guys that are taller than him. This is one of my favorite plays. Jason Tatum with the step back, and watch, this is how much room he can give. He's playing the drive, but he can be this far back because his arms are so long. So watch when he blocks Tatum's shot at its apex right there. That 7'2" wingspan will allow him to sag off defenders because he can make up for it with that reach. This one I really like. He can get deflections really well. He's probably gonna have a lot of steals like this right here. Steals it, and then his transition game is so good. We'll talk about that later in the video, but steal to a pull-up jumper all in one sequence. And that's one of the things that the Raptors really like is that he has that IQ, right? And who does this remind you of? I mean, that looks like LeBron James with that block inside. They ended up scoring, but he can block in transition too. Here's Rubio, another block. So he can stay with these quicker guards. Like Rubio's pretty shifty, so it's impressive that Barnes already is savvy on the defensive end. And then right here, Evan Mobley blocks it with the right hand, and then Allen dunks it. But yeah, Barnes, I mean, like, you just see his great defensive base, right? He's going to cut off the drive here. He's going to go inside, transition to somebody else, and then slightly block that. I rewinded a couple times. He did block it, but you can see how he can shift from player to player and block, right? Here's another principle of verticality, arms up. He's entitled to that space. You're going to see Kyle Kuzma come in here. Again, same thing, arms up, perfect guarding position, no foul. And that's well schooled. He's from the Leonard Hamilton School of Defense, right? And there he gets a steal on Shake Milton, inside for 2. And off the ball, I mean, you're going to see this, right? So he's going to get caught going over the screen, which is the right play. And if you freeze it right here, most guys right here are beat, right? Because the point guards in the league are so fast to get these layups up. But because of his wingspan, he can recover and easily block that before the Wizards score. Right here, he's going to be off the ball. And instead of going under both those screens, he rides Bradley Beal all the way until he forces him to turn the ball over, right? And this is super important because if you see a player like LaMelo Ball not hugging the baseline and trying to cheat the screen, you leave spaces for shooters like this in the league. It's not going to be pretty. So Barnes has a great sense of awareness of not to do what LaMelo Ball did right there and get caught too far away from the guy that's running off the screen for a jumper. So if you rewind this play again, doesn't go under, and it's super important for him to stay with the guy the whole time. Know your personnel. Bradley Beal, great shooter, forces him into a turnover. I mean, it's just really high IQ stuff. Right here we see Maxey, and this is an example of great closeouts, right? Hard, controlled closeouts behind the three-point line, blocking, no foul, right? We're going to see it again here. Hard, controlled closeouts, cuts off the driving angle, forces him to give the ball up. Again, right here, you're going to see his effort. All right, great closeout. Alters the shot without fouling. We're going to see an example of a bad closeout here, where LaMelo Ball is going to run and contest and just kind of jump and then hit him, and he's lucky he didn't get a foul call. But Barnes doesn't do this, okay? I mean, his closeouts and contests are some of the best you can see on film. Right here, Beal picks his dribble up, forces him to give it up, and that off-ball awareness and pressure is something that's really key for Barnes' development. Here, he stays with the roll man and uses his wingspan to get the deflection out of bounds, okay? This is one of my favorite plays. Scottie Barnes looks up at the other shot clock, realizes that there's only 3.9 seconds, so he's going to go and double Embiid in the corner because he doesn't have time to pass, forces him into a bad shot, and unfortunately the Raptors don't get the rebound. But that awareness is something that most veterans don't even have, okay? Now for his offense. His jumper is a work in progress. He's lethal in transition. His long arms make him a good rebounder and a good inside scorer. He has an ability to play make and a small ball center capability to have some crazy lineups with the Raptors personnel. So we're going to see some of his jump shot clips right here. A lot of long pull-up twos, which aren't great for analytics, but he needs to make these consistently to keep the defense honest, right? So I don't think it's such a bad idea for him to do this, as we're going to see him pull up for a three. The motion looks pretty good. I think it's just going to be about repetitions for Scottie, just because he hasn't shot a lot of them. He's only averaging about 2.3 a game or something like that. I mean, this motion looks pretty good. Just, maybe speed it up a tad bit, but overall, I think the form, there's a lot to work with there. And we're going to see here in transition, I mean, if he can make this consistently, this pull-up transition mid-range, it's just going to be really hard to stop him, because we're going to see his finishing inside in transition too. Watch this cut off the ball. You're going to see him cut to the free throw line with a little pull-up. There's a lot of plays ran by Nick Nurse that has this action where he just cuts to the free throw line for a free throw line jump shot. So that's going to be a thing that for him, that range right there is something that he's going to have to master. I mean, the form looks good. I think it's just that confidence from night to night when the shots aren't falling. Can he consistently make that? And these type of plays right here with the roll man, this is a small ball center capability, right? Off the guard, pick and pop. I mean, he can play center doing this, and it's going to be really, really hard for teams to stop his athleticism. And then now we're going to talk about his inside finishing. You're going to see a lot of garbage time points. And until his offensive game gets formed, a lot of this stuff is going to be, garbage points, second chance points, offensive tip-ins, rebounds, stuff that he's very, very good at because of his 7'2" wingspan, because of his instincts. He goes inside, contested. The Raptors just keep fighting, and he's going to get these put-back dunks a lot. It's just a matter of him staying aggressive and him, having that hunger to score, the hunger for second chance points right here. Nice little floater over Jared Allen. I think it actually was a Cavaliers tip in there, but that pressure that he puts is going to be hard for teams to deal with if they're undersized. Right there, a tip in. This small ball 5 stuff that I've been talking about. Here he follows his own shot. Some teams are going to be running small ball, and they don't have a dude with the 7'2" wingspan that's going to be running their 5. So right here, Achua misses, and then Barnes with the putback dunk. So these are a lot of, garbage points. I mean, he's a good cutter too. He can cut, finish inside. But I mean, they're effective. You need a guy like this that's going to get his hands dirty down low and, just get putback dunks like this, dunk over smaller people, be aggressive. I think that's one of the best traits about Scottie is that, he has that ability. And he also has this ability to be a playmaker in transition, not only for himself, but for others. One-handed, left-hand pass. This stuff that, he hasn't averaged a lot of assists, but I think going forward, he will. You see right here, he's cutting inside, going in for the layup. Barnes is one of those guys that, you got to have a body on him at all times. And, he can find the open man for 3. The Raptors have a lot of great 3-point shooters. So it's going to be up to him to develop this. Right here, he gets it off the tip. Right underneath, finds the open man inside for the layup. So yeah, I mean, he has the IQ to be a very good playmaker, and we're going to see him, as a lob threat too in transition. He's one of the more fun rookies to watch. He's one of those guys that doesn't need long to develop. Great team player. I think the Raptors preferred him over Jalen Suggs just because of his size, and he can do this all day. I mean, just look at how casually he strolls inside. I mean, it looks like a little like Giannis, how he just can take a couple steps and just dunk like this, and this is his upside. So yeah, I mean, if he can improve the jumper, be a little bit more refined with his post offense, and get the 3-point and the mid range going. I mean, he has the ability to be in a lot of different lineups with Toronto, and I can't wait to see his development. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more content.